What's up, guys? I have another story here, inspired and based on the life and artwork of Henri Matisse, my favorite artist. So, again, we see Matisse and his cat and his bird, and he's cutting out his amazing shape. So, it's called Henri's Scissors because when he was older and sick in his bed, his taxi bed on wheels, he would paint and cut paper and shapes to make his art. So Matisse got as close as one can get to heaven with a pair of scissors, it says. In a small weaving town in France, a young boy named Henri Emile Benoit Matisse watched his mother paint china. He wanted to paint too. So Henri Matisse's mom was an artist. He would draw pictures in the sand, and he drew pictures in his books. And when Henri was a young man, he drew pictures in his law books and on contracts, deeds, and wills. So instead of becoming a lawyer, like his family wanted him to, he became an artist. Henri was sick in bed with appendicitis one winter. His mother gave him a box of paints, and he painted until he was well. Art got him through the sickness. He kept on painting, forgot about law, and left his small town to be an artist in Paris, France. Henri painted pictures day after day and year after year. He was happy, and his paintings made other people happy too. But when Matisse was an old man, he fell sick again. So ill he couldn't paint, so ill he couldn't sit up, so ill he could only lie in bed and sleep. His paintings floated by in his dreams. Matisse finally opened his eyes, and they were filled with sadness. Now he must remain in bed or use a wheelchair. Would he ever have the energy to paint again? When Matisse was strong enough to travel, he went to the seaside. The sea air might help him get well, he thought. Before long he sat up, and a little later he started drawing again. Here's his bird up in the bird cage, his cat sitting on the chair. Then one day, Matisse picked up a pair of scissors and cut out shapes from painted paper. He was drawing with scissors. A pair of scissors is a wonderful instrument, he said. He can cut, cut, cut. Matisse cut paper all day long. My pleasure in cutting things out grows even greater. Why didn't I think of it earlier? His assistants would paint paper for him all day long, big sheets of paper. And when it dried, he'd cut out fun shapes. It seems to me that I am in a second life now. Paper cutouts covered his walls. So he started as a painter, and now he's painting with scissors. So it's like a second career. Fun shapes and collage. One evening, Matisse lay in bed and drew the faces of his grandkids on the ceiling with a piece of chalk tied to a long pole, and as he fell asleep, they looked down on him and saw his dreams. So kind of like in the other story, he's drawing on the ceiling with his long stick with chalk on the end. They saw the shapes that surrounded him in his sleep. When his pet bird's on his shoulder. As time went on, Matisse cut bigger and bigger shapes. They filled his seaside room with color. He said, "You see, as I am obliged to remain often in bed, I've made a little garden all around me where I can walk. There's leaves, there's fruits, there's birds. He can make any shape he wants. I'm deeply happy," he would say. This is reminiscent of one of his most famous works that he did with cut paper. This big plant bursting. Then one night Matisse walked out into his paper garden, and the rainbow of shapes cradled the old artist and carried him into the heavens. Are some of the stars we see at night coming to us from Henri's scissors? Well, perhaps. Maybe he cut out the stars. Though produced by a very old man who was quite ill, the cutouts seem to come from the springtime of the world. So lots of people were inspired by his cut paper designs and his artwork that he created later in his life. So even when you're an older artist, you can still learn new tricks and techniques and make amazing things that make other people happy too. Keep up the good work, mis amigos.